ladies and gentlemen. They will question you, they will doubt you, and when they cannot understand your worth, they will demand explanations. But remember this, diamonds do not justify their price to those who cannot afford them. My friends, life has a way of putting us in situations where we feel the need to prove ourselves, prove our worth, prove our strength, prove our dreams. But let me ask you, who are you trying to convince? If a bird stopped flying every time someone told it that the sky was too vast, it would never soar. If the sun had to justify its heat, it would never shine. And if you keep explaining your value to those who refuse to see it, you will spend your life trying to earn validation instead of living your truth. Stop explaining yourself. Stop justifying your worth. Because your value is not determined by those who fail to see it. When you walk into a room, walk with the confidence of someone who knows they belong, not someone who is begging for approval. When you dream, dream with the audacity of someone who knows they deserve it, not someone who is waiting for permission. Yes, there will be people who do not understand you. There will be people who question your dreams, mock your struggles, and underestimate your strength. Let them. Because the truth is, some people will never see your worth, not because you lack it, but because they're not capable of recognizing it. Your value is not determined by others' ability to see it. There will always be people who overlook you, underestimate you, and dismiss you. Some will fail to see your strengths, while others will deliberately ignore them. But does that change who you are? If the world does not recognize a diamond buried deep in the earth, does it stop being a diamond? If the sun is covered by clouds, does it cease to shine? Your worth does not decrease just because someone fails to acknowledge it. The world is filled with individuals who judge based on their own limitations, their own fears, and their own inability to comprehend greatness. Many times, people see you through the lens of their own experiences. If they have never seen resilience, they may not recognize it in you. If they have never known what true strength looks like, they may mistake your endurance for stubbornness. If they have never encountered unwavering self-belief, they may label your confidence as arrogance, but none of that has anything to do with you. Their perception of you is not your reality. Think of the most successful, most inspiring figures in history. Were they always seen for what they were? Did people always recognize their greatness from the very beginning? No. Many of them were laughed at, ridiculed, and doubted. Some were told they were too young, too old, too weak, too ambitious, too different. But they did not let the world's blindness define them. They did not shrink themselves to fit into the narrow understanding of those around them. They knew that their value was not something that required external validation. They carried it within them and they walked forward with it, whether people noticed it or not. You see, people often measure worth based on what they can relate to. If they cannot understand your vision, they will call it unrealistic. If they cannot comprehend your journey, they will say you are lost. If they cannot grasp the depth of your dreams, they will call them impossible. But should you change yourself to fit their limited perspectives? Should you lower yourself so they can feel comfortable? Should you abandon your dreams just because someone else cannot dream that big? The danger of seeking validation is that it makes you dependent on the approval of people who may never truly see you. It puts your confidence in the hands of those who may never fully appreciate your worth. And worst of all, it makes you question yourself. Every time someone fails to see your potential, you begin to wonder if it even exists. Every time someone doubts your capabilities, you start to doubt them too. That is how people lose themselves, not because they are not valuable, but because they start believing the world's inability to see their value. You must understand that there will always be those who underestimate you, not because you are lacking, but because they are limited. Some people can only recognize worth in things that come with labels, titles, and fame. They cannot see potential in the making. They cannot recognize raw talent, silent strength, or unseen resilience. That is why so many people only respect success once it is widely acknowledged. They only appreciate brilliance when it is backed by numbers, awards, and external recognition. But real value exists long before the world acknowledges it. A seed holds the potential of a mighty tree, even before it breaks through the soil. A star shines even before the night reveals it. And you, no matter where you stand today, are already valuable, whether the world sees it or not. Many times, people fail to recognize value because they have never learned how to. If someone has spent their life surrounded by mediocrity, they may not know how to appreciate excellence. If someone has always settled for less, they may not understand those who strive for more. Their failure to see you is not a reflection of you. It is a reflection of them. And that is why you should never let their blindness dictate your worth. Some people may try to make you feel small, not because you are, but because they fear your greatness. They will dismiss your efforts, not because they are unworthy, but because they are intimidated by them. They will try to convince you that you are not special, not because it is true, but because it makes them feel better about their own insecurities. If you allow their words to define you, you are giving them the power to control your destiny. You are allowing their fears to shape your future. Imagine a sculptor working on a masterpiece. In the beginning, all the world sees is a block of stone. Some may mock it, calling it ordinary. Some may walk past it, completely ignoring it. But the sculptor sees what they cannot. They see the beauty hidden beneath the rough edges. They see the potential waiting to be revealed, and with each stroke, they bring that vision to life. You are the sculptor of your own destiny. You know what lies within you, even if the world does not. You see the masterpiece that is yet to emerge. And just like the sculptor does not stop working simply because others cannot see the final form, you must not stop believing in yourself just because others fail to recognize your greatness. Every person who has ever made a mark in this world was once unseen. There was a time when no one knew their name, no one understood their vision, and no one believed in their potential. But they did not wait for the world to validate them. They did not ask for permission to be great. They did not let the doubts of others dictate their journey. They moved forward with the unshakable belief that their value was not determined by the opinions of those around them. So ask yourself this: are you waiting for someone to recognize your worth before you believe in it yourself? Are you allowing the doubts of others to shape your self-perception? Are you holding back your potential simply because someone else refuses to see it? Because if you are placing your value in the hands of people who may never understand it. You are giving away your power to those who do not deserve it. And you are limiting yourself for the sake of those who were never meant to define you. Stop justifying your worth. Diamonds don't explain their price. In this world, there will always be people who question you. They will look at you and ask why you dream so big, why you strive so hard, or why you believe in yourself when they do not. Some will doubt your abilities and others will challenge your choices. They will ask you to prove yourself, to explain why you deserve what you are working for, and to justify why you think you are capable. But tell me, does a roaring lion pause to justify its strength? Does the ocean explain why its waves rise and fall? Does a diamond sit in a jeweler's shop, pleading with every customer to understand its worth? No, it simply exists, valuable whether people recognize it or not. Many people spend their lives trying to convince others of their worth. They exhaust themselves explaining why they deserve respect, why their work matters, why their dreams are valid. They enter every room trying to prove that they belong, but the truth is, the moment you start justifying yourself, you place your value in the hands of those who may never truly see it. You give them the power to decide if you are worthy, if you are enough, if you are deserving. And the more you explain, the more you reinforce the idea that their approval matters. But it doesn't. The most successful, most impactful people in this world are not the ones who beg for validation. They are not the ones who constantly explain why they should be taken seriously. They are the ones who walk forward with quiet confidence, knowing that their worth is not up for debate. They do not waste their energy convincing people who refuse to see their greatness. They do not pause to argue with those who underestimate them. They do not lower themselves just to be understood by minds that were never meant to comprehend their brilliance. They simply continue being who they are, and in time the world catches up. When you justify your worth, you invite unnecessary criticism. The moment you start explaining why you deserve something, you give others the space to question it. The moment you defend your choices, you allow people to debate them. But the truth is, not everyone deserves an explanation. Not everyone has earned the right to question you. And most importantly, not everyone will ever be capable of understanding your journey, no matter how much you try to explain it. Some people will doubt you no matter what you say. You could lay out every reason, every achievement, every struggle that proves your worth, and still there will be those who refuse to see it. Not because you are not valuable, but because they are not willing to see beyond their own limited understanding. A person who has never seen gold may mistake it for something ordinary. A person who has never known excellence may not recognize it even when it stands right in front of them. Their inability to see your worth does not diminish it. There will be times when people ask you to prove yourself. They will ask for explanations, for justifications, for reasons why you deserve the opportunities you seek. But what if you simply refused? What if instead of explaining yourself, you let your actions speak? What if instead of arguing, you focused on building? What if instead of convincing, you allowed your success to be the only response you ever needed to give? Confidence is silent. It does not beg to be noticed. It does not demand to be understood. It does not argue for recognition. It simply exists. And when you understand your own worth, you stop feeling the need to explain it. You stop defending your choices to people who were never meant to validate them. You stop shrinking yourself to fit into spaces that were never built for you. You stop wasting energy trying to win over those who have already decided not to see your greatness. Think about the most valuable things in this world. Gold does not lose its value simply because someone does not understand its worth. A rare painting is not any less precious just because one person fails to appreciate it. And a diamond remains a diamond, whether it is displayed in a glass case or buried deep within the earth. The same is true for you. Whether people acknowledge your worth or not, it does not change. Whether they recognize your brilliance or not, it remains. Whether they understand you or not, you are still valuable. Some of the greatest minds in history were once dismissed. Some of the most powerful voices were once ignored. Some of the most successful individuals were once doubted, questioned, ridiculed. But they did not waste their time justifying themselves. They did not pause to explain why they were worthy. They did not seek validation from those who could not comprehend their vision. They simply continued forward, knowing that their worth was not dependent on the understanding of others. If you spend your life justifying your worth, you will always feel like you have something to prove. You will always feel like you are on trial, defending yourself against people who were never meant to be your judges. You will always feel like you need permission to take up space, to pursue your dreams, to be who you truly are. But the truth is, you do not need permission. You do not need validation. You do not need approval. The moment you stop explaining yourself, you reclaim your power. The moment you stop justifying your worth, you free yourself from the burden of seeking acceptance. The moment you realize that diamonds do not explain their price, you understand that you never have to prove yourself to anyone. Confidence comes from knowing your worth, not seeking validation. Many people believe that confidence is something external, something that comes from the recognition and approval of others. They think that once they are accepted, once they are praised, once they are validated by the world, they will finally feel confident in themselves. But that is not confidence. That is dependency. Confidence does not come from applause, from titles, from popularity. It does not come from being liked, from being noticed, from being celebrated. Confidence is something that must be built from within, something that exists even when no one else sees it, something that does not waver based on how others perceive you. When you tie your confidence to validation, you place your self-worth in the hands of others. You let their opinions dictate how you see yourself. You allow their acceptance or rejection to determine your value. And that that is a dangerous place to be because people are inconsistent. They change their minds, their moods, their loyalties. One day they may praise you and the next they may criticize you. If your confidence is rooted in their approval, then your self-worth will always be fragile, always at the mercy of those around you. But when confidence comes from within, it is unshakable. It is not affected by the noise of the crowd. It does not rise and fall with external circumstances. It remains steady. No matter who is watching, no matter who is applauding, no matter who is doubting, true confidence is quiet. It does not beg to be noticed. It does not scream for attention. It does not need to prove anything. It simply exists. It is the way you carry yourself when no one is watching. It is the way you believe in yourself even when no one else does. It is the way you keep going even in the face of doubt and criticism. Because confidence is not about proving yourself to others. It is about knowing yourself so deeply that no one can make you question your worth. There are people who spend their whole lives chasing validation. They try to please everyone, to meet every expectation, to fit into every box that society creates for them. They shape themselves according to what others want, believing that if they are accepted, they will finally feel confident. But no amount of approval will ever be enough if you do not believe in yourself first. No amount of external praise will ever fill the void of self-doubt, because the truth is, confidence is not something the world gives you. It is something you must claim for yourself. Think about the people you admire, the ones who walk into a room with a presence that commands attention. They do not do it by begging for approval. They do not do it by constantly seeking reassurance. They do it because they know who they are. They do it because they have built their confidence from within, brick by brick, without relying on the opinions of others. That is what makes them unshakable. That is what makes them powerful. Some people will never validate you no matter how much you try, not because you are unworthy, but because they are unwilling. Some will withhold approval simply because they see your confidence as a threat. Some will try to make you question yourself because your self-belief reminds them of their own insecurities. And some will never acknowledge your worth because they do not want to admit they were wrong about you. If you live for their validation, you will spend your whole life trying to prove yourself to people who will never see you for who you are. But if you live for yourself, if you build your confidence from within, you will never need their approval to keep moving forward. Confidence does not mean you will never face doubt. It does not mean you will never have moments of insecurity. It does not mean you will never hear the voice of fear whispering in your mind. But true confidence is about what you do in those moments. It is about standing tall even when uncertainty creeps in. It is about choosing to believe in yourself even when doubt tries to take hold. It is about refusing to let the opinions of others dictate the way you see yourself. There is freedom in knowing your worth. When you stop seeking validation, you free yourself from the exhausting cycle of trying to please everyone. You stop bending and breaking just to fit into someone else's expectations. You stop waiting for permission to be great. You stop apologizing for who you are, because when confidence comes from within, you no longer need anyone to tell you that you are enough. You already know it. Some of the most powerful people in the world did not wait for validation. They did not ask for permission to chase their dreams. They did not seek approval before stepping into their greatness. They simply knew they were worthy and they acted accordingly. They walked with confidence, not because the world had given it to them, but because they had built it themselves. And that is why they could not be shaken, no matter how much the world tried to bring them down. Confidence is a choice. It is a decision you make every single day. It is choosing to believe in yourself even when no one else does. It is choosing to stand tall even when doubt tries to pull you down. It is choosing to move forward even when the world refuses to validate your path. And the moment you stop seeking validation is the moment you truly become unstoppable. Some people will never recognize your value, and that's okay. There will be moments in life when you feel overlooked, unappreciated, and invisible. You will pour your heart into your work only to be met with silence. You will give your best to people who barely notice your efforts. You will show up with all your strength, all your passion, all your dedication, and still there will be those who fail to see you. But that does not mean you are not valuable. That does not mean you are not enough. That does not mean you should stop being who you are. Not everyone is capable of recognizing greatness when it is right in front of them. Some people can only see value in things that are already shining, already celebrated, already validated by the world. They do not have the vision to see potential. They do not have the depth to understand true worth. They do not have the capacity to appreciate something before it is widely acknowledged. And that is not your fault. That is not a reflection of you. It is a reflection of them. There are countless stories of people who were underestimated, ignored, and dismissed. Think about the authors whose books were rejected by publishers, only to later become bestsellers. Think about the artists whose work was ridiculed, only to later be praised as masterpieces. Think about the dreamers who were laughed at, only to later change the world. The world does not always recognize value immediately. Sometimes it takes time. Sometimes it takes patience. Sometimes it takes walking alone before others realize the path you were paving all along. But the real question is, do you need their recognition to know your worth? Do you need their approval to believe in yourself? Do you need their validation to keep moving forward? Because if you do, you will always be at their mercy. You will always be waiting, hoping, craving acknowledgement. And that is a dangerous place to be. Because when your self-worth depends on the recognition of others, you give them the power to define you. You give them control over your confidence, your potential, your dreams. But your value is not something that should be placed in the hands of people who may never understand it. Some people will never recognize your worth, not because you are not valuable, but because they are not meant to. They are not meant to be your audience, your supporters, your believers. They are not meant to see your vision because your vision was not given to them. It was given to you. And that means it is your responsibility to believe in yourself even when no one else does. It is your responsibility to keep moving even when no one is watching. It is your responsibility to trust in your journey, even when others fail to understand it. There will always be those who criticize, who doubt, who dismiss. There will always be those who fail to appreciate you. And sometimes it will be the people you expected the most from. Sometimes it will be the ones you thought would support you, the ones you believed in, the ones you stood by when they needed you. And when they fail to see your worth, it will hurt. It will make you question yourself. It will make you wonder if maybe, just maybe, they are right. But they are not. Just because they do not see your value does not mean it is not there. Just because they do not acknowledge you does not mean you are not worthy. The truth is, not everyone is meant to walk with you on your journey. Some people are only meant to be observers from a distance. Some are meant to doubt you so you can learn to believe in yourself even more. Some are meant to reject you so you can find the places where you truly belong. Some are meant to ignore you so you can understand that your value does not come from external recognition, it comes from within. Think about the sun. It rises every morning whether people wake up to see it or not. It shines just as brightly whether anyone acknowledges its warmth. It does not dim itself simply because someone chooses to close their curtains. It does not stop glowing simply because someone refuses to look up. It continues to shine regardless of who recognizes it. And that is exactly how you should be. Shine even when no one is watching. Shine even when no one applauds. Shine even when the world seems blind to your light. Some of the most brilliant people in history were overlooked in their time. Some of the most beautiful souls go unappreciated every day. Some of the most extraordinary talents remain unnoticed for years. But does that mean they are not valuable? No, it simply means that not everyone has the ability to see what is rare, what is unique, what is special. Some people only recognize worth when it is placed in front of them with a label, a title, an external validation. But real value does not need to be announced. Real worth does not need to be proven. Real greatness greatness does not need to beg for recognition. When you understand this, you stop seeking validation. You stop waiting for others to see you. You stop trying to prove yourself to those who are incapable of recognizing your brilliance. And instead, you focus on becoming the best version of yourself, not for them, but for you. You walk forward with confidence, knowing that your value is not dependent on their recognition. You move with purpose, knowing that your worth is not defined by their opinions. You rise every day, knowing that whether they see you or not, whether they acknowledge you or not, whether they believe in you or not, you are still valuable. You always have been, you always will be. Success is not about proving your worth. It's about knowing it. Many people spend their entire lives trying to prove themselves. They work tirelessly, not because they love what they do, but because they want to be seen. They want to be recognized. They want to be validated. They want the world to look at them and say, you are worthy. You are enough. But the problem with this mindset is that it places your worth in the hands of others. It makes your success dependent on someone else's approval. It turns your journey into a constant chase, always running, always striving, always trying to prove something to people who may never truly understand your value. But what if you stopped? What if you decided right now that you have nothing to prove? What if you chose to believe that you are already enough, that your worth is not measured by achievement, that your value does not require validation? What if success was not about proving your worth to the world, but about knowing your worth and acting accordingly? There is a difference between working hard because you believe in yourself and working hard because you want others to believe in you. The first is empowering. It gives you strength. It fuels your passion. It fills your life with purpose. The second is exhausting. It drains you. It makes you desperate. It leaves you feeling empty even when you achieve everything you thought would bring you happiness. Because when you work for external validation, nothing is ever enough. No amount of success will ever make you feel complete. No amount of recognition will ever give you the confidence you are searching for. Because confidence does not come from proving yourself. It comes from knowing yourself. There are people who will spend their entire lives chasing validation. They will achieve great things, but instead of feeling fulfilled, they will feel like they need to do more. They will win awards, receive promotions, gain recognition, but instead of feeling worthy, they will feel like they need to reach an even higher level to finally be seen. And this cycle never ends. Because the moment you make your worth dependent on external approval, you give away your power. You let others decide when you are good enough. You let others control how you see yourself. You let others define your success. And that is not how truly successful people live. True success is not about being acknowledged. It is about being aligned. It is about doing what you love, not because you need applause, but because it fulfills you. It is about pursuing your dreams, not because you want to prove your value, but because you know you are capable. It is about waking up every day and walking forward with confidence, not because the world is watching, but because you believe in yourself. The people who make the biggest impact in this world are not the ones who spend their lives trying to prove themselves. They are the ones who simply do the work. They do not waste time seeking validation. They do not pause to explain why they deserve success. They do not let doubt stop them from moving forward. They just keep going. They keep building. They keep showing up. And eventually the world notices, but by the time it does, they no longer need the recognition because they have already proven to themselves that they are worthy. When you stop trying to prove your worth, you stop chasing people who do not see your value. You stop seeking opportunities that require you to beg for recognition. You stop letting rejection make you feel like you are not good enough. Instead, you begin to choose yourself. You begin to create your own opportunities. You begin to walk away from anything that does not align with your purpose. You begin to trust that the right people, the right opportunities, and the right success will come, not because you proved yourself, but because you believed in yourself. Some of the greatest minds in history were ignored at first. Some of the most brilliant ideas were rejected before they changed the world. Some of the most successful people today were once overlooked, dismissed, and underestimated. But they did not let that stop them. They did not waste time arguing for their worth. They did not pause their journey to explain why they deserved success. They simply kept going. They kept working, they kept believing, and in the end, it was their confidence, their persistence, and their unwavering belief in themselves that led them to success, not the approval of others. You do not have to prove anything to anyone. You do not have to justify your dreams. You do not have to explain why you deserve success. Your job is not to convince people of your worth. Your job is to know your worth and act like it. Your job is to wake up every day and put in the work, not to be seen, not to be validated, but because you believe in what you're doing. Your job is to trust yourself even when no one else does. Your job is to walk forward with confidence even when the world questions you. The moment you stop trying to prove yourself, you become unstoppable. You stop waiting for permission. You stop seeking approval. You stop letting doubt hold you back. You start living for yourself, working for yourself, believing in yourself. And when you do that, success is no longer something you chase. It is something you attract, because real success is not about proving your worth. It is about knowing it, owning it, and never letting anyone make you question it.